Hello, and welcome to the Lone Larch podcast. My name is Jenny. You can find me on Instagram and Etsy as Lone Larch Designs and on Ravelry as Jentastic. How's everyone doing? Great. Here we are. I have some sad news. Watson, our beagle dog, went to the Eternal Dog Park on Thursday last week, which was a very difficult decision to make, but it is life. He has been having some troubles over the last couple months, some bowel issues. He wasn't able to go to the bathroom very comfortably. We were managing it for a while, but it just got to the point where we couldn't do anything about it. The surgery that the vet suggested wasn't very successful most of the time, so we didn't want to start that whole battle. So we made the decision to let him go, which was very hard, but it was the best decision, I think. So Emmy and I took him in and said our goodbyes, and that's that. My house is very quiet, but there's still lots of creatures in my house. We still have big, medium, and small cat. So there's still fur babies running around. I hate that word, fur babies, but there's still some furry creatures running around my house, but not ones that bark and have clicky toes on my hardwood floor and need to go in and out every 5 seconds. And, well, sometimes they do. But, yeah, life around, I guess we can't call it Beagletown anymore, but life at Beagletown has changed significantly. So, they're finally plowing the roads. It snowed for like 3 days this weekend, and started on Thursday actually, and snowed for 3 days. So they're finally plowing the roads, which is good. I don't care. I like sliding around in the FJ, and it doesn't really affect me, but yeah, it's good that they're plowing the roads. Anyway, For the Love of Trees, brought to you by, we're back to this book, The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wohlenben. Wohlenben? I don't know how you say that. The Mysteries of Moving Water. How does water make its way up from the soil into the tree's leaves? For me, the way this question is answered sums up our current approach to what we know about the forest. For water transport is a relatively simple phenomenon to research. Simpler at any rate than investigating whether trees feel pain or how they communicate with one another. And because it appears to be so uninteresting and obvious, university professors have been offering simplistic explanations for decades. This is one reason why I always have fun discussing this topic with students. Here are the accepted answers: capillary action and transpiration. You can study capillary action every morning at breakfast. Capillary action is what makes the surface of your coffee stand a few fractions of an inch higher than the edge of your cup. Without this force, the surface of the liquid would be completely flat. The narrower the vessel, the higher the liquid can rise against gravity, and the vessels that transport water in deciduous trees are very narrow indeed. They measure barely 0.02 inches across. Conifers restrict the diameter of their vessels even more, to 0.008 inches. Narrow vessels, however, are not enough to explain how water reaches the crown of the trees that are more than 300 feet tall. In even the narrowest of vessels, there is only enough force to account for a rise of 3 feet at most. But we have another candidate: transpiration. In the warmer part of the year, leaves and needles transpire by steadily breathing out water vapor. In the case of a mature beech, the tree exhales hundreds of gallons of water a day. This exhalation causes suction, which pulls a constant supply of water up through the transportation pathways of the trees. Suction works as long as the columns of water are continuous. Bonding forces cause the water molecules to adhere to each other. And because they are strung together like links in a chain, as soon as space becomes available in the leaves, thanks to transpiration, the bonded molecules pull each other a little higher up the trunk. And because even this is not enough, osmosis also comes into play. When the concentration of sugars in one cell is higher than the neighboring cell, water flows through the cell walls into the more sugary solution until both cells contain the same percentage of water. And when that happens from the cell to cell up into the crown, water makes its way up into the top of the tree. When you measure water pressure in trees, you find it is highest shortly before the leaves open up in the spring. At this time of year, water shoots up the trunk with such force that if you place a stethoscope against the tree, you can actually hear it. In the northern US and Canada, people make use of this phenomenon to harvest syrup from sugar maples, which are often tapped just as the snow is melting. This is the only time of the year when the coveted sap can be harvested. This early in the year, there are no leaves on the deciduous trees, which means there can be no transpiration. And capillary action can only be a partial contributor because the aforementioned rise of 3 feet is hardly worth mentioning. Yet at precisely this time, the trunk is full to bursting, so leaves us with osmosis. But this seems equally unlikely to me. After all, osmosis works only in the roots and leaves, not in the trunk, which consists not of cells attached to one another, but of long continuous tubes for transporting water. So where does that leave us? We don't know, but recently research has discovered something that at least calls into question the effects of transpiration and the forces of cohesion. Scientists from a bunch of institutions, listen more closely, literally. They registered a soft murmur in the trees, above all at night. At this time of day, most of the water is stored in the trunk, as the crown takes a break from photosynthesis and hardly transpires at all. The tree pumps themselves so full of water, their trunks sometimes increase in diameter. The water is held almost completely immobile in the inner transportation tubes. Nothing flows. So where are these noises coming from? The researchers think they are coming from tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide in the narrow water-filled tubes. Bubbles in the pipes, that means the supposedly continuous column of water is interrupted thousands of times. And if that is the case, transpiration, cohesion, and capillary action contribute very little to water transportation. So many questions remain unanswered. Perhaps we are poorer for having lost a possible explanation, or richer for having gained a mystery, but aren't both possibilities equally intriguing? Nature's magical. Anyway, so in other news, I've been knitting a lot. Tree work has all but stopped. Work with John is done for a couple of months, and work with Amy is there but very slow. So I've been knitting a lot. It's been very stressful around here, and I've been very scatterbrained. Things have been very stressful for me, and so I haven't been able to really focus on one project, so I just cast on everything, pretty much. So let's just do that right now. Talking about John, what I've been working on mostly for the past 3 or 4 days, has been the tree-lined hat by Fiddle Knits, and I don't have a picture, but I have a almost done toque. And here it is. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Someone sent me this pattern quite a while ago. I think it was last summer. Someone sent me the pattern. And John requested a toque, so I thought this is perfect. Oh, the light is bad. Oh, maybe it's because there's a huge knitting bag. Hold on. Is that better? Yeah! There's a huge project bag sitting right behind the camera, so it was hiding all the sun. Yeah, so I'm making this for John, and it's gone really fast. I remembered how much I hate doing color work. I really do. I don't mind doing it, but I hate being stressed constantly about how tight my floats are. But it looks cool. Yeah. Tree-lined hat by Fiddle Knits. The yarn that I'm using is, the bottom is Seawall Fibers. It's this right here. It's the gradient that I got at Knit City. And I just have used the darkest color in it. Am I even showing you what it is? No. Seawall Fibers. It's just their fingering weight. Quartz sock 4-ply fingering. So I've used that for the bottom, for the gray color, and then the other yarn that I'm using, I've been hoarding for a long time. I think I got it at Fiber Week 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago. Not this spring, but the last spring, I think it was. I was in a tree that spring, though. I don't know if I actually went to the marketplace. Doesn't matter. It might have been the year before. But it's flock fiber. I even have the ball band for it. It's right here. Lone Pine Singles. It is so glorious. There's a reason I've been hoarding it, because it's lovely. Lone Pine Singles, and the color is Storm Chaser. So, thoroughly enjoying that. And I have great plans now that I've used it, and I'm not scared to use it anymore. You know how you get scared to use yarn when it's like so beautiful and glorious? You just want to hold it in your hand and look at it instead of knitting it up. It's like you're wasting it when you're knitting it, which is ridiculous. But now that I've seen how it knits up, I want to use it even more. So I have plans for it. Yeah, there isn't anything else on the ball band that you really need to know. It's just 100% superwash. It's a single ply. It's glorious. It's fingering weight. Storm Chaser is the colorway. So what I think I'm going to do with the rest of the leftovers from I'm going to use the rest of this gradient with this. I can't remember if I told you this last. I don't think I did last episode. I want to make the arbor, is it called the Arborcowl? It has another word in it, but it's the newest pattern from Stephen West. By the way, hurry up and release it so I can start it. It's the newest pattern from Stephen West, and it's like, I don't know what else to call it other than a dicky. It's like a cowl, but then it goes out onto your shoulders and covers your shoulders a little bit. And it's glorious, and I will wear it all the time. It's what I've wanted to have, or like come up with a pattern for so long, and now that Stephen West has done it, I feel like I don't have to do it anymore. So that's what I'm going to do. Stay tuned. The other reason why I want to do it is because it's happening right now, and I'm never one of those cool kids that knits what's actually just been released. I always do it like 4 years later or forever later when it's not even cool anymore. So I'm going to try and be one of the cool kids this time and knit it right after it's released when everybody else is. So that should be amazing. The light's kind of crappy today, but whatever. It's because it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's John's hat. All I have to do is knit for like an inch and then decrease, and it's done. So I'm very happy with it. Isn't it beautiful? The pattern is incredible. When you're knitting it, you cannot see, or I couldn't, I could not see the trees being formed until I, like, you know, turned on my old lady eyes and held it really far away from my face, and then like the trees are just perfect with just the right amount of light showing through. So glorious. I'm really happy with it. Oh, and these are, I don't even know what they are. What are they? 3.25 needles, and they're high sharps, which I'll talk about in a minute. Very exciting as well. I spoiled myself a little bit in the last 2 weeks. It was needed. Let's just put it that way. What else am I working on? Let's put that away so that I don't get distracted. Okay, so remember last time when I was showing you what I got from Knit City? It's a Lara bag, Fawn and the Fox bag. So remember when I showed you what I got from Knit City? It was the abundant fiber, amazing, soft, cowly stuff that I wore as a cowl when I was trying to decide whether or not to buy it. Abundant fiber, the Portland is what it's called. 50 to 60 yards, 100 grams. Glorious, glorious stuff. So I tried to make a cowl out of it, but I couldn't find needles that were big enough in town, so I killed my hands for like a full morning trying to knit this thing, and knit the entire ball, and then tried to put it on, and it was like a neck brace. It was so tight and so structured. It looked ridiculous. It looked absolutely ridiculous. So I ripped it all out after spending all that time doing it and killing my hands. And I've decided to needle felt it. And this is really cool. And this is really fun. Did I bring the thing? Yeah. So I went to Craig's, which is fabric / pretend yarn store in Olds, and I got, can you see it? I got a felting needle and a foamy thing. And now I'm needle felting it together. So what I've started doing, I just sort of measured it to go around my head, like so. And then I'm just knitting it, or not knitting, I'm felting a tube, essentially. And it's really cool. I'm gonna try and do like a little video to explain how, or to show you how I'm doing it. But all I'm doing is, as I get the fiber, I'm drafting it, not drafting it, I don't know if it's still called drafting, but I'm like opening it up a little bit to make it a little bit flatter, which is hard in some places because some places are quite felted. But I'm opening it up so it's a little bit flatter, and then I'm just laying it on top of the next bit so that it overlaps just a tiny little bit, and then I'm just needle felting where the two overlap, and it's joining them, and it's magical, and the fabric that is being produced is exactly the thickness that I wanted, and I'm really excited it's working. And Emmy is so pumped about this. I showed her how it, well, she has a little penguin that she wanted me to fix that's a little felted penguin and his tail was coming off. So I showed her how to fix it, and her eyes just got really big. So I started showing her how to do this one, and you know, she's poking away, and like she's absolutely mesmerized by it. So I think I might get her one of those little felting kilt kits for Christmas that like create a little dude, whatever creature or whatever, like a gnome or whatever. So I think she'll take way more to that than she does with knitting right now, because knitting is a little bit too, I don't know, we haven't actually knit in a long time. But I think this will be a little bit easier for her motor skills at this point. And then we'll go to knitting later, if she wants to. I'm not going to force my child. But I was just surprised how interested in this she was. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how she likes it. And stay tuned for this, because this is very exciting. I'm really, really happy the way it's turning out. And I want to work on this above everything else right now. And put it back here so it doesn't, we don't lose the needle and such. So I'm working on that. That's very exciting. What else am I working on? I will show you this because you saw this last week, last whatever. This is my dotted rays, my continuous dotted rays project. I am using, these are both Fiddly Dye Works. This is Magical Gray. That's not actually the color, that's what I'm calling it. Magical Gray, Magical Silvery, Iridescent Gray, and Griffey James colorway. This is not all I have of the Griffey James. I have a whole nother thing of it. But these are the two colors that I'm using for, and I'm right in the middle of a row. Of course I am. I forgot about that last night. It's getting huge. Yeah, you can't see the bulb. Whatever. Oh, why do I do this? I love this project. I love how mindless it is, and I love how it's turning out. And I love how manly this is turning out. I mean, I don't know. It's just not as crazy as everything that I've been seeing lately, and I really like that. This is for Isa, my niece. hoping to have it done by Christmas. I think I will have it done by Christmas because I am working on it a lot. It's my mindless, I can't think about anything, my brain is too full knitting. So that happens a lot lately. So I've been, yeah, getting a lot of progress done on it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, if you haven't done a dotted raise, I would really suggest doing one. You can do it all one color, you can do it striped, you can do it scrappy, you can do it whatever, but it's awesome. And I started using this thing, little roll counter thing, so that I know it's all short rows. Try not to give away too much, and it just you go back to your gap and then you work. Okay, I don't know how to explain this. You go back to your gap and you have to go back a certain amount of stitches, like depending on what section you're on. So instead of me trying to remember or look at my phone to check the pattern, because I know the pattern so well, I just have to check which one I was on or which one I need to go next. I just put the row that I'm on essentially on here, and it is helpful. I don't know. I never really use row counters. I usually use a paper and like mark stuff down. But with this, I don't want to have to think at all, and if I can just glance at the row marker, it's good. I don't know. I don't know what else I don't know what I'm trying to tell you, but oh, I am also using magical addies for these, which is making it even more glorious. Indulge your hands. I think that's such a funny catchphrase. I think these are 4.5s I'm using for fingering weight yarn, and it's glorious. That is all. And yeah, I can't really show you. Maybe I can, because I am in the middle of a row like a rookie. This is where I was. Where's my marker? That's where I was last time. So I've done, what, 4 more sections? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 more sections. And the sections get bigger, obviously, as you go. So it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere because you don't do color changes as often. But the rows are getting long. Whatever, it's just knit forever, and that's great. That is what I need. It's being housed in my ginger root bag. I don't know if you, yeah, I haven't shown this in a while, but ginger root, she's on Etsy, and she has great aesthetics. Great aesthetics. Go check her out. Ginger root bag. What else am I doing? Okay, so I am making a Waiting for Rain. Grace, do you like my bag? I can't open it. What's happening here? There we go. I'm making a Waiting for Rain shawl. I haven't worked on it for quite a while because I'm at a lace section, and lace takes brain power, which I don't have. So it's been sitting for quite a while, but, well, not quite a while, for like, what, a week and a half. But I've gotten 1 lace section done. Can you even see that? Maybe if I do this. Nope, still can't see it really well. But I have 1 lace section done. Don't tell anyone, I screwed up on it somewhere. Like the second last row, I had like 2 extra stitches for some mysterious reason. Whatever. I just made it hide. So, yeah, if you haven't seen this pattern, it's glorious, and you should go look at some of the projects that people have made with it. It's just beautiful, and I am enjoying it thoroughly. It's just enough mindless garter with that little pop of lace in there. It really keeps your interest, but isn't stressful. Doesn't feel like it's a big deal, if you know what I mean. Like when you do all lace, every single row, you get to the end of that lace row and you're like, please let me have the right amount of stitches. Please let me have done this properly. And then you do your recovery row, or your whatever, that's what I call them. Recovery row, and it's like, oh, thank goodness, all relief. And then you get back to that lace row and you're like, count, 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 count. And it's just stressful for me. But this is just enough of both that I want to keep working on it, and I don't feel super stressed. So Did you see the yarn? The yarn is Fiddly Dye Works again. It is called Dirty Beach, and it's great. I'm doing it with alpaca for the lace section. Is that a lie? No, that's a lie. Garter sections, I'm doing alpaca base. Can you see all the little guard hairs on there? It's so pretty and so soft. And then for the lace sections, I'm using merino sock. Same color, obviously, just different base, which is not a big deal. I can't even tell. I can't tell at all. Maybe when it's blocked out, you'll be able to see the fuzz a little bit more, but whatever. Yeah, Fiddly Dye Works, Dirty Beach. I need to work on this more because I forgot how glorious it is. Need to work on everything more, which shouldn't be a problem because I don't have work. It's really weird going from working like a gazillion days a week and a gazillion hours and trying to balance everything and figuring out childcare and making dinner ready, having dinner ready, and Jared's working on the road and like doing all the things to just being able to lay on the floor yesterday with Emmy and play with her little plus Lego thingies. It's very hard for my brain to switch back into the winter mode, and I'm struggling with it a little bit. I feel like I always have to be doing something important. I mean, I always talk about this. I know you guys are probably over it, but it's a big deal. It's really hard to just chill out and enjoy what's going on instead of like, okay, I have to be making bags. I have to be doing this. I have to be being productive. I have to be finishing a project. No, you don't. Just chill out. Calm down, Jenny, in other words. So the last work in progress that I have is something that is very exciting for me and is, I don't think I've showed it before. I don't think I have. Okay, but first, I'll show you what it's sitting in. This was the other Spoil Jenny thing. I love Jenna Rose bags. My other, John's hat, is actually in my very first Jenna Rose bag. The oak one. I've had this bag for like 2-3 years maybe. Is that right? Probably 2 years. I can't remember. But I love it. She hand prints all her own fabric, like it's a linen, and then she hand prints whatever design she dreams up on it and then makes the bags. And I've wanted one of these bucket bags for so long. And so I said, treat yourself, yo. And I got one. And it's beautiful and I love it. And I thought that I wouldn't like the fact that it was open, like exposed to cats and my house, but it's really not a big deal because it just sits up on either my ironing board or the kitchen table or whatever, and it's just away from everyone and it's not a big deal. The leather handles are beautiful. I'm just gromming it on and I love it. The inside is just, I don't know, natural linen. Maybe cotton, I have no idea. Feels like cotton. Anyway, it stands up nicely. I love it. This is the small size. Yes, this is the small size, and it's perfect for, I mean, there's loads of room in here, but I have 3 skeins of worsted weight in here, plus what I'm working on, a pen, the tags, chapstick, and there's loads of room. Like you could do an entire sweater in here, I think. Or a sweater my size anyway. So what is inside the bag? They ask. What is inside the bag? Inside the bag is a new pattern that I'm working on called Drum Bag. And here it is. So this is going to be a shawl. It's worsted weight yarn. It's 3 skeins of worsted weight yarn by the end of it. You will have used most of those 3 skeins, just within reason, like so that you don't run out in the middle of a row. I'm going to do the calculations so that you don't. It is knit. You start on this side. This tiny little tip. It has I-cord edges on both sides. Has this amazing fishnet pattern. I absolutely adore this. Took me a long time to figure out how to make it lay the way that I wanted it to lay, but it's turned out exactly how I wanted it to. So that's the tail, and then it flattens out. It does not point. I do not like shawls that have a point. I am not a cowboy. I am not wearing a bandana. I don't know what it is about that shape, but it really bugs me. I don't like wearing it. I am not a cowboy. Even though I live in Alberta, I'm not a cowboy. So the shape of it is going to be very long and skinny. I almost want to call it a scarf, but I don't know. Doesn't matter what it's called. It just matters that I love it and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So what I'm hoping that it will do once it's done and laid down is it will be like this. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's not quite long enough to show you the gist of it, but these I am hoping will represent the green and the gray, will represent the forest of Gabrielle Island near Drumbag. The forest of Gabrielle Island that goes down into the rocks and the beaches of that island. And yeah, that's it. So, oh, I love it. Sorry, I'm just looking at my phone trying to see what it actually looks like. And it looks cool. I'm happy with the way it's turned out. This one's been a little bit stressful. I've changed my mind a few times on it, and Marcia had some really wise words of wisdom for me, Fairy Little. When we were at Knit City, I was talking to her a little bit about designing, and yeah, she just said the right thing to me at the right time, and it's made me kind of relax about my designs to just make them the way that I want them to be. And if it's not working out, it's okay. You can put it to the side and go back with it with fresh eyes. And if it's still not right, if you still don't look back at it and love it, then start again. What's the big deal? If you go back with it like I did, a couple weeks ago, I went back and pulled it out of its bag and went, oh, this is exactly what I want it to be like. So chill out once again, in other words. So, yeah, I have to carry on. Obviously, it is not done, in case you didn't notice that. Carry on with this section, and then on the other side of it, it will go back down into the sandy beach or the rocky beaches of Drumbag, and that will be that. So what I am requesting from you guys is, I'm thinking in about a month, I am going to need some test knitters for this. So if you're interested in doing it, it's 3 skeins, worsted weight. I can't remember the needle size. 5mm US 8. You can do it on very short needles because you're just going back and forth on this very short amount of stitches. So this is a 24-inch needle. I was working it on a 16-inch needle before, and it was fine, but it was a little bit tight. This just gives you a little bit more wiggle room, but you can work it on very small needles, which I like. The rows are nice and short. It just makes you feel like you're really getting somewhere quickly. So I'm showing you the wrong side. Even the wrong side looks great. So if you're interested in test knitting this for me, I'm only going to take 2 test knitters. I would appreciate 2 test knitters to volunteer if you're interested. Send me an Instagram message. The first 2 people that message me will be the test knitters. And that is that. It will probably take me about a month. Even after Christmas actually would work. Just for your knitting timeline, because I know that's a thing that everyone has. After Christmas is probably more realistic. So send me a message if you're interested. If you're not, that's cool too. But I'm very happy with the way it's turning out. So carry on. Carry on, Jenny. Carry on. Back to my glorious bag. Do you want to know the yarn that I'm using maybe? The yarn that I'm using, I got at 88 Stitches when I was in Langley in March visiting Kate, and it's called Swenyo. Yeah, Swenyo. And it's glorious. This yarn is so amazing. It's so round and beautiful. It's 80% merino, 20% bamboo. It is so soft. It is so shiny. I would suggest this yarn to anyone ever for any project. It's glorious. I'm really loving it. They're just colored. Oh no, I thought they were just numbered. They do have names. Heather Gray. Hold on. Shifting Sands. Shifting Sands is the gray. Heather Gray is the dark. Oh, there's a fuzz from Emmy's Halloween costume. Is the dark charcoaly gray. And then the green is Grasshopper. Yeah, this yarn is incredible. I'm really liking it. And there's actually 105 grams in these skeins, not 100 grams. I love it when they just add a little bit more. So that is the drum bag. Very excited. I'm really happy. I'm really excited for that one to be done because I think I will wear that a lot. It's very squishy and it's very cozy already, even like a third of the way done. I love having it on me. That's everything that I'm working on. I'm pretty sure I don't have any finished objects. Kimmy's socks were the last one, and I showed you that last time. So I'm going to show you a few things that I got in the last couple of weeks. It was the Fiber Shindig in Calgary 2 weekends ago, I think. Not this weekend, but last weekend was the Fiber Shindig. I did not go to the Fiber Arts Fest this weekend because it was not a good idea. But I had to go to the Fiber Shindig, and I got to meet Chantel of Knit Pearl Dog Skein Game podcast, which was awesome. She's someone that I've talked to a little bit on InstaFace, and I was excited to just actually talk to her face to face. It's funny how when you show up to places like that and you know you're going to meet this person, you've like had the conversation through Messenger or whatever, and you just see the person, and it's not like, hi, nice to meet you. It's almost just like a continuation of the conversation that you were having online. Like you've known each other forever and you just carry on. I love it. And yeah, it was really good to meet you, Chantal. I'm glad I got to meet you. Finally. So what I got, first I got some Haven Fiber Arts because I love Jess and I love her colors. Emmy picked, which one did Emmy pick up? I think Emmy picked this one up. Or no, I picked this one up, and this one was sitting next to it. And Emmy said, oh, Mom, look, matches perfectly. And I went, yes, it does, child. Took them both and just held on to them till I finished looking at everything else. But aren't they glorious? I'll stop waving them around and actually show you so you can see them. Oh, the sun decided to come out. How fantastic. This one is Flower Crown Solid Sock 80/20 havenfiberarts.etsy.com. And this one is Grove. Isn't it glorious? This might be the same one that Chantel got to go to Sarah. Is that a lie? It might be a lie. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, how perfectly do they go together? I have no idea what they're going to be, but I could not take one without the other. Simple as that. So, Haven Fiber Arts. There's her card. So I picked those two up. And the other thing I got from wherever I was, Shindig, was another one of Laura's Fawn and the Fox. Fawn and the Fox yarns. She lives down the street from me, yet I have to go all the way to the Shindig to buy yarn from her. Whatever. Pardon me. I've had this one on my list for a long time, but I was waiting for it to be on the right base at the right time when I was actually ready to buy it. So she had it, and that made me very happy. It's Fantastic Mr. Fox, because I love that movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it's amazing. I'm not going to take this off. I was going to show you how glorious the yarn is, but yeah. She has them done so tight and so tidy, I don't want to take it off and wreck it. So this is Fantastic Mr. Fox. I have no idea what it's going to be. It will probably be socks, to be perfectly honest. I've been waiting a long time for this yarn. I'm really happy that I finally got it. It's on her Otter Base 4-ply fingering, 25 merino, superwash merino, 25 nylon. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I may watch that this afternoon when Emmy gets home from school. I was going to try and do his whistle, but I can't do it. I love George Clooney. He's the best. So those are the 2 things I got at, 3 things I got at the place that I went, Shindig. What else did we do that day? We had a great day. I mean, I did some shopping. We went and saw Ponies, the new Pony movie, which was special. It was cool though, because the opening, they did like the opening, the theme song or whatever. They had the huge 80s twist to it, so it was amazing. And of all the kid shows that Emmy watches, My Little Pony is probably my favorite. Yeah, so it was a fun day. We had a fun girls' day out. So yeah, from the mail stuff, I got the Jenna Rose bag, and I also ordered, I can't believe I did this. My sister Katie came over last night on her way home from my parents' house, and because I kind of live halfway in between the two, and I was talking to her about needles, and like she just started knitting recently, and she, you know, she doesn't have a lot of this stuff, but I have a ridiculous amount of this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I now have 3 sets of interchangeable needles. 3 sets, Jenny? Do you really need 3 sets? But you kind of do, honestly. Because my Addy Clicks, I love the way the needles feel, but I hate the connection. And so for the larger sized needles, for the larger sized needle projects, I like to use those Addies. But for the smaller needle size projects, I like to use my Knitter's Pride ones. And I have an obsession with Hiya-Hiyas lately. Like all my sock needles now are Hiya-Hiyas. And I started buying like individual sets or individual like circular needles. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Why don't I just get an interchangeable set? Because, I mean, you buy 4 of them and it's essentially the cost of okay, maybe 5. It's essentially the cost of the interchangeable set. So I bought an interchangeable set. I got these from Acme Fibers, which is a Canadian company. They're in Ontario somewhere. I can't remember if it's Hamilton or wherever it is. But I buy a lot of needles from them. They're really good online. They have a really good selection. And Sherry, the lady there, I have no idea who she is. I just know her from the you know, like the thank you letters. She has been really good. I've bought a couple needles and they've been the wrong size because I'm dumb and wasn't paying attention to what I was buying. And their return policy is really good. They actually sent me new needles before I returned the old ones, which I thought was trusting of them. I mean, I wrote her this long email. Yeah, so yeah. I'm ridiculous. I'm putting the needles right back into the mail because I bought the wrong size. Can you send me these ones instead? Yes, absolutely. I had them within 4 days or something like that. Shipping from Ontario is interesting. Sometimes it takes like a day and a half. Sometimes it takes a week and a half. But with Acme, I don't know what it is. Their shipping is quick. They're very reasonable. So I got a set. It comes in this fancy little thing, book, pouch thing. There's a pocket at the back here with all the cords in it. It comes with 3 cords, I think. 32, no, hold on, 40, 32, a 24, and a 16. Now the 16 are the ones that I was going for, also a needle gauge. The 16s were the one I was going for because I am tired of buying individual needles for hats. So I wanted to get needles that I could have interchangeable for any size hat that I'm doing and not have to do magic loop, just be able to knit round and round and round forever. So these needles are shorter than normal. I don't know how long they are. 4-inch maybe? 1, 2, yeah, they're probably 4-inch needles. You can see that, hey? So when they're put on not a 16-inch cord, but a cord that makes the whole loop 16 inches, it's the perfect size for hats. The needles aren't, do you know how sometimes the needles are oddly long for the length of the cord? There's none of that. I'm really happy with them. The other cool thing about these is they kind of slot. See the gold part on there? It kind of slots, it screws in, but it also has like a sheath that comes over top of the needle. So the join is magical. The join is so good. Do I have a... I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this accurately, but I'll try. They come with the little grippy things so that you can hold the needle really tight, and then the little key locky bit to put in the hole that's in the cable. You see that little hole that's in the bottom right by where the blue part attaches, the cable attaches? You put the key in there, and then these slot together. This is really hard to do, far away from my face. And then they screw together. Where is it? I'm trying to put it in front of my head so that you can see it actually go together. There you go. And then you screw it in. And I hope you can see that, but it's... the part on the cable actually slots right over top of the needle. And it's so good. It's so good. The connection is amazing. Like, you cannot feel it at all. These are sharps. I really like the high sharps because they're pointy. I don't know. Simple as that. Obviously they're pointy, they're sharp. But they're my favorite needle now. They're my favorite. And these ones, this set comes, they're the 4-inch length of needle, and they come, the sizes are 2.75 millimeter all the way up to 5 millimeter. And they're glorious. I'm so happy I got them. Katie, you may be getting a set of interchangeables. She may be getting my Addies. Katie doesn't watch this as far as I know. Whatever. My parents do. Don't tell Katie she's getting needles for Christmas. I think I'm just going to give her my Addies because I don't use them. I don't use them as much. And especially now that I have these, now that I'll have a metal set that I love and a wood set that I love, there's no point having 2 metal sets. So I think I may give her those for Christmas. Yeah, and there's lots of other room for, like these, I'm using these ones for John's toque right now. But there's lots, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all these ones down here. So probably another 8 little slots for other needles. So you could put, like I could, now that I think about it, I could put all of my wood ones in here too. And have all my needles together. We'll see. I have a really fancy other pouch for my my wood ones. So I don't know if I'll do that, but we'll see. I am so happy with this. I thought the price was really good. I can't remember what it was right now. I just remember that it was totally reasonable. Shipping with Acme too is really good. I don't know about what it is to go to the States, but I think shipping to get these here was only like $5, $5.50 maybe. It was awesome though. I was shocked, and they sold me so quickly. Yeah. So totally spoiled myself. Whatever. It happens. I didn't spoil myself at Knit City. Like, I did not buy a lot of stuff at Knit City, so I had some extra spending money that was not used there. So justification once again. I think that's it for knitting. There's a couple other things I'm going to talk about. Cindy asked last week about my traveler's notebook. And what she's asking about is my journal. It's not my journal, it's sort of my journal too, actually. Journal / day planner. This is my traveler's notebook. Lara and Carly got this for me 2 Knit Cities ago, not this year, but last year. They surprised me with it because it's super fancy, and I would never buy something like this for myself. But they are fancy, and they are generous. So they bought me one. This is the camel color. It's leather. It's beautiful. And it's just the cover. So you buy whatever cover you want, the leather cover. And then on the inside, you... oh, Lara. Hi, Lara. I'm talking about you right now. What was I going to say? On the inside, there's these little booklets. and Amy Lee. That's my hair cutter. Yes, I can come at 9 o'clock for my haircut on Wednesday. So you get these little booklets, and you can get, there's a whole bunch of different kinds that you can choose from. I was trying to figure out a way to show you this. I don't want to take it out because it's kind of tricky. So in the center, there's these elastics. Can you see those elastics? And they run along the center of the book, around through the back of the spine. And then you choose whichever book that you want. Like this one is just a lined, notebook. I don't know if it actually says what it is. No. It's just a lined notebook. You can get ones that are blank. You can get ones that are gridded. You can get whatever you want. And then this one is my day planner one. So I have the one that is, there isn't anything on here that, I'll just show you a blank one. This is the one that I have. It has the week on this side and then kind of like a list thing on this side. So I have my, like an ongoing list throughout the week. It starts usually the Saturday or the Sunday before the week starts, and then I just have like an ongoing list. So, you know, whatever, and then I cross off as I go, and it usually ends up filling the entire page. Or notes, or like billing, all of my billing for my work, whoever I've been working for, all of that goes in here, and it's awesome. You can also get these little, on my pictures have fallen down. You can also get these little, I don't know what they're called, these little plastic inserts. Mine goes at the front and the back, so I have Kate and Lanny at the bottom, and this is me and Lara and Carly last year at Knit City, and then the top picture is me and Jared and Emmy. So it's just like it's a little sleeve that you can put whatever you need to in there, and then the back part of it is a zippy pocket, which I love, and I mean it just has random stuff in it. I have no idea what keeps stopping, but it's really starting to annoy me. Stickers, whatever, like it's just a catch-all thing. A little pocket at the back. And then I normally have this is my knitting list right now, but I normally just have like a little pad of paper that goes in the back, which is clipped on by my fancy rose gold clip that Lara gave me. Little paper clippy thing. So that goes there. And then on the inside I have lots of like paper clippy things. I have to renew my first aid. Stuff like that, just holding things in to remind me or to hold certain pages together, like if I'm going back and forth between a couple of weeks or whatever. So that's what my traveler's notebook is. I really like it. I would have never bought it for myself because I don't spoil myself for things like that. I only buy myself 100 sets of interchangeable needles, and you can find them pretty much anywhere that like fancy paper is sold. It's actually called Travelers. It's from Japan, and I saw the thing in here yesterday. Where did it go? I think it's just Travelers. www.travelers-company.com. But you can get them anywhere. Like they're anywhere fancy paper is sold. It sounds so weird to say out loud, but like fancy pen shops. Paper Yeah on Granville Island has them. In Vancouver, I can't remember the place in Saskatoon that Lara goes to, but they're all over the place. If you just search Traveler's Notebook, you'll be able to find them. They're very available. And oh, I also have this thing from Farm Fairy. It's my little bookmark of my whatever week I'm on. So that's my Traveler's Notebook, Cindy. I hope that was helpful and not too ridiculous and over chatted about. I also got this pen when I was there last time. It's not a pen, it's a pencil. And it's actually wood. They've just hollowed it out. It's like feels like a pencil crayon, but they've hollowed it out and then put like a mechanical pencil in it. I love it. It's magical. It's really light and it's green. That's good. Okay, so Kate and I are having a giveaway. The giveaway is for no reason other than the fact that here we are and we want to do a giveaway. The giveaway is for one of my hats, the pattern for one of my hats, either the Elkpass or Doug Fir of your choosing. You can, whichever one. and then a skein of Kate's Organic Merino Worsted. I hope that's what it's called. In the Gabe colorway. I have it here, but it's vacuum sealed. I'll put a picture in of what it actually looks like in its glorious, glorious nature. But this is what it looks like right now in the vacuum seal. So to enter in this giveaway, all you have to do is in the comments in YouTube only, the question is, what is your favorite thing about winter? It can be the fact that it snows. It can be what you do with your family in the winter. It can be whatever you want. Just what is your favorite thing about winter? Winter is a long time up here, so you have to find something that makes you happy about it, or you will go crazy. My favorite thing about winter, two different things. I like, in the winter, the extreme contrast between outside and inside. I like walking outside and feeling when it's -15 and the sun is so bright in your eyes. I like walking outside and being hit with that in the face and how it kind of takes your breath away. But then I love the same feeling. I love being out in it. I love also opening up the door and feeling the heat of the wood stove on your face and getting the feeling back into your hands and your toes and all of that. So that's one thing I like about winter. The other thing I like about winter is skiing. Cross country and downhill, as snowboarding if it's downhill. But I love that there's still so much to do in the winter as long as you actually go outside and do it and bundle up for it. There's still lots to do. I love feeling the freezing cold air on my lungs and how it kind of burns sometimes and probably isn't that good for you, but it's very refreshing. The fact that I can be active in the winter just as much as I am in the summer is pretty cool. The other thing that I like, well, I don't know. Okay, it's not really something that I like. It's a memory. But when Kate lived in Olds, we used to go for walkies at Snake Hill, which is a place just west of here. It's in a town called Sundre. And we would take all the little tiny kidlets. They were tiny at that point. Emmy was 2.5, and so was Griffey, and Lanny was, what, 4? Just about 4. And we would take them for walkies in the winter. And sometimes it was awesome and magical, and other times it was not. It was painful and trying to get them to keep going through the forest. And you think when you would bring a sled that it would be good because, you know, the children would play in the sled and have a great time and play in the snow. But if they were in the wrong mood, they would just lay in the sled or just sit in the snow, and you would be stuck in a forest with 3 children and a dog and cranky children. So I see that picture, I'll put it in here, but I see that picture a lot pop up on my Instagram or whatever. It finds its way back into my life, and it really makes me smile how much fun we had, even though it was cold, and yeah. So, good times. Anyway, so in the comments below, tell me what your favorite thing about winter is, and you will be thrown in the hat to win this beautiful skein of Gabe. I know it looks like spaghetti right now, but trust me, it's gorgeous. This beautiful skein of Gabe and one of my hat patterns of your choosing. So get on it. I will draw, I don't know, in a week, maybe? What's the date today? The 5th? 4th? I have no idea. I'll draw on the 15th. Is that reasonable? Sure. I'll draw on the 15th. So, go do that. What else do I have to show you? Anything? I have, oh, be careful. I have done a little bit of sewing, and I'll show you a few of the bags that are now in the shop. And that's it. So here they are. I'm going to try not to knock everything over when I lean forward because it's quite precariously balanced and corded and plugged in and everything. Yeah. Okay, so I have a couple more birch bags, little sock sized. Am I showing you the right side? Yeah. Little sock sacks. This is with a lighter interfacing with the topographical liner. 1 free beagle hair. I'll keep that one for myself. Sock sack, there's a couple of those in there. The topographical trees. I don't know what to call it. This one. Every bag is different on these. The pattern placement is completely different on the front and the back. And I just put them on whichever way my eyes thought that the trees should go. This one has topographical inside as well. And I'm trying to, with all of my zippers, I'm trying to have the leaves on the end of them. Again, I finally got some. I couldn't get them for a long time, but I finally got some new ones, and I really, really like having that extra bit of weight on the end of the zipper. It's just something more to grab, I guess. So there's that one. There's a couple of these in there. I think I only grabbed one. Yes. There's a few of these mountainous ones. Once again, 1 free beagle hair with every bag. Winter Wonderland. The leafy pull. Inside of these ones is sparkly snowflakes. I think they're all the same on that one. All of the Winter Wonderland ones have that liner. There's, I think there's 3 in there. If any of these, hold on, I might be lying to you. If there's anything that you have seen in the shop or that I'm showing now that isn't there when you go to the shop and you would like one, let me know, and I will either go and get the fabric or see if I can get the fabric and make one for you. That's not a problem. I have all the time in the world now. This is the silver linden. Last winter I did a gold, was it a gold linden? I don't think I called it that, but it was the same fabric, only it was the gold specks instead of the silver. So this year I have the silver specks. There are more of these coming next week. There's one, this one's actually sold, which is going to go out today, but I have more of this fabric and it's cut. I just haven't made the bags yet. So if you're interested in this bag, send me a message and I will put the fabric aside for you. And on the inside, there's silver snowflakes on that one. I've gotten some comments that people like lighter liner fabrics so they can see what's inside the bag better. So I've been trying to do that as much as possible. The patterning on this bag is quite long, but it's not long enough to do a full bag, so that's why the linen on the bottom is a little bit shorter, but just as magical in my mind. There's that one, silver linden, and then this one, there's only one of this set, but I'm pretty sure I can get this fabric again, so if anyone's interested, just let me know and I'll run to Airdrie and go get it. Did you know there's a new yarn store opening in Airdrie? I just saw that this morning on Instagram. It's called Willow and Wool, I think, and I want them to open right now. Yeah. Okay, so this one is a set. I love this fabric so much, and the whole thing, the whole bag comes in one big piece. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a graduation of, it starts with this at the bottom, and then it graduates up to the forest, which is this side. Obviously that's upside down, but graduates up to that, and then above that is the leafy canopy, and the leafy canopy is silver, and that is what the liner is. I love this fabric so much. So this is the medium wedge bag, and then I had a little bit left over. I don't know, it doesn't matter which is the right side, but I made a little matching notions pouch to go in it. So on Etsy, these are listed together as a set. So that's what I have. There's a few more in there, and then multiples of these ones that I've showed you, but there's actually stuff in the shop now, which is nice. I don't feel like I'm neglecting it anymore. I think that's all I have to say. Enter for the giveaway. Have a lovely day. And that's it. Talk to you soon.
Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, the morning bells are ringing.